Looking at this apartment building, it's the picture of quiet, suburban predictability. The Jalvalue Vihar complex was a controlled environment, physically contained and secured. Inside one of these units, 13-year-old Aarushi Talwar was found dead in her bedroom. The next day, the family's domestic worker, Hemraj Banjade, was discovered on the apartment's locked terrace. Both victims suffered fatal blunt force trauma and precise sharp force injuries to the neck. Investigators found no signs of forced entry. In criminology, routine activity theory suggests that when a crime occurs in a secure space without a break-in, the offender likely had legitimate, known access to that residence. In terms of forensic probability, a double homicide in a contained environment with a limited suspect pool should yield reliable physical data. The parameters are strict and the boundaries set. This is an officer with the Uttar Pradesh Police, the agency responsible for the initial first response. In any investigation, these first few hours are the only window to secure a perimeter. That window was left open. Neighbors, politicians, and unauthorized personnel walked through the primary crime scene. The media even filmed inside the rooms before serious evidence collection began. This violates Locard's exchange principle. Every contact leaves a trace. When an offender and victim interact, they exchange microscopic material. But when dozens of people track dirt and touch surfaces, the killer's biological trace is overwritten and buried. Poor procedure trampled the biological evidence within hours. The investigation proceeded without a single uncontaminated physical fact to guide it. The errors compounded quickly. While police investigated the apartment downstairs, Hemraj's body lay undiscovered on the terrace directly above them for a full day. This created a spatial paradox. The door to that terrace was locked, yet the key to the door had vanished from the premises. Police eventually found a bloody palm print on the terrace wall. However, that print matched no one known to be in the house. Not the parents, not the domestic workers, and not the victims. The digital trail also went cold. Both victims' mobile phones were wiped of data and recovered months later from unrelated individuals, breaking the chain of custody. Even the biological samples were compromised. A vaginal swab taken from Aarushi was swapped in the pathology lab with a sample from an unknown woman, invalidating the DNA profile for forensic comparison. At this stage, the justice system was attempting to build a prosecution entirely out of missing parts and contaminated data. Looking at this media scrum, it's clear how the scarcity of forensic facts was replaced by aggressive truth serum to extract confessions. It's a legally inadmissible tactic that the subsequent investigative team discarded. In 2010, the CBI filed a closure report, admitting they lacked the evidence to charge anyone. A special magistrate rejected that report anyway, and in 2013, Rajesh and Nupur Talwar were convicted of murder. This conviction relied on a narrative chain of circumstantial evidence, bridging the gaps where forensic data had failed to appear. The case reached the appellate level in October 2017. Inside the Allahabad High Court, the focus returned to strict procedural review. The High Court dismantled the conviction, stating that the prosecution's theory relied on assumptions rather than established evidence. Without an unbroken chain of circumstantial evidence, the court overturned the life sentences and acquitted the Talwars. The acquittal did not provide closure. There is still a societal demand for a culprit, a demand that the legal system can no longer meet. The High Court's ruling establishes legal innocence through the recognition that the evidence was too degraded to support a conviction. Institutional failure made the truth permanently inaccessible. The case remains unresolved,